One of the next priorities that I'm going to discuss for vineyard management after harvest or from harvest until leaf drop in dormancy is the importance of soil moisture. And a lot of growers are sometimes deficit irrigating leading up to harvest. So they're already restricting water in some cases. We want to make sure after the grapes come off the vine, we give a good long irrigation set to make sure the complete root zone is covered and not sitting in dry soil. When roots sit in dry soil, they tend to pull away from the soil, and then those roots can dry out. And if that carries out over the dormant period into the winter and into the following spring, we can have issues where dry root system or partial loss of root system can cause improper bud burst, or poor, uneven bud burst is more like it. And that could also lead to problems in ripening and also problems with yield. You can actually lose yield to loss of root system by not paying attention to soil moisture. So it's essential to ensure that your vine roots have adequate moisture through the fall and the winter, where if the ground is freezing where you are, then make sure you have good moisture in the soil leading up to your ground freezing. And as well as in the spring, when vines start to wake up, so to speak, we know they don't wake up, but when they break bud and come out of dormancy, we want to make sure we're starting with a full soil moisture profile. So during the dormant period, you can extend irrigation sets. You can push salts past the root zone. If you've accumulated salts in your irrigation water, it's a good time to water past the root zone to push salts in. And if you can, monitor soil moisture using some kind of soil moisture sensors. Now, you could still go out the old-fashioned way, dig a hole, do a hand test with the soil, ball it up in your hand, and check for moisture, the primitive old-fashioned way. Nothing wrong with that. But what I prefer to do is to use some type of soil moisture sensor. There are sensors like matrix potential, like Watermark, or there's capacitance sensors by companies like Meter or Hydroscout. And what I prefer to use is a probe that will take moisture readings in several different depths of the soil. Satellite or remote soil monitoring using cellular data is also a nice bonus if you can get a system installed in your vineyard that will remotely automatically measure soil, that you can just look at your computer or an application on your phone and see where your soil moisture is. The company that I use with my clients is Sensor Insight, and they're based in Houston, Texas, and they provide a software and a kit that comes ready to go installed into a vineyard. The reason that I like to use the sensor and the multiple depth probe sensors is because it helps me to tell my client when they can stop irrigating based on the fact that we filled the soil moisture profile to where the majority of the roots are. It helps us know when we should start watering again based on how much the soil is drying down. And if the grower is going to put any type of fertilizer, especially post-harvest fertilization, if you're using that strategy, you can regulate how far that fertilizer moves into the soil profile by monitoring the water moisture movement in the soil profile. And if you're putting irrigation water out that's poor quality, has high boron or salts, and you're trying to flush and push some of those salts below the root zone, having that sensor will give you some feedback as to whether or not you're accomplishing that goal. So whether you're leaching salts, whether you're trying to inject a fertilizer, or if you just want to know when to stop irrigating and when to start irrigating, I find soil moisture sensors are a great benefit to any grower who want to get that data and do a more precise job with their irrigation.